And good afternoon. This is Gloria Nelson with TUG, and it is my pleasure to welcome everyone this afternoon to today's webinar titled Watch Your Budget, Enhance, Don't Replace Your Storefront B2B. And without any further ado, I'm going to turn this over to Craig Bassin. He will introduce his team and begin the content presentation. Go ahead and take it away, Craig.
Thank you, Gloria. It's Craig Bassin with EasyAsk. Hi, everybody, and welcome to our presentation today. Our presentation today is going to be a little bit different because what we want to try to do is address the world we're living in today and the challenges it presents to you as B2B e-retailers, right? Because the world has certainly changed. We think we can help. We think we can help significantly, and so let's dive in and talk about what we can do to best help you. So today I'm going to start the presentation. Again, I'm CEO at EasyAsk. Hopefully you know who EasyAsk is. We're the core search engine within Storefront for search and merchandising. And then I'm going to, we'll introduce Robin next. And Robin's going to show you some enhancements that we can provide to almost everybody today to really enhance some of the back-end functionality of Storefront, right? And from that point, we'll pass it along to Jonathan, CEO at TriGroup. And Jonathan will show you what your site can actually look like as opposed to what it looks like today. So together we can make a significant improvement and a real impact on how you guys are providing e-retail in the B2B world. Very briefly, EasyAsk, you may know, you may not know, is an advanced AI-based natural language search engine. So what Google does for the internet, we do for retail, right, and for e-commerce. And by the way, we're every bit as smart as Google, but we're really focused on this e-commerce. So we understand the content in the three-dimensional way of your catalogs on the back end, and we understand language on the front end. We're a linguistic engine. We understand questions, whether they're typed, whether they're spoken, right? And that has real impact once you go mobile. And so for that, Gartner Award was Cool Vendor of the Year a few years back. Today, we're here to talk about the impact of what coronavirus has had, really on society, but especially on business, right? And certainly, there's been an enormous impact on, unfortunately, the brick and mortar stores. And candidly, this could be the death knell for small, mom and pop shops. It's going to be hard for some of these smaller retailers to come back. So now more than ever, e-commerce matters. If you're buying anything, you're probably, other than groceries, you're probably ordering online these days. And so you better have a user experience that can work every bit as well as Amazon, right? And EasyAsk provides that, by the way, right? Your companies are facing some type of a new normal, whether it's just working from home, everyone's distributed, right? And many companies, and certainly some Storefront clients that we've talked to, have had to furlough up to half the size of their team. So we're trying to figure out how do we help you keep the doors open, keep your revenue flowing, right? In this new normal, right? The real question is, how do you keep up the demand and provide a better e-commerce experience when you're running on a pretty dated B2B platform, and that's Storefront, right? And then your budgets have been restricted and you have less resources to deploy, these type of new programs. How can we best help with that, right? The situation that you're dealing with now is, for many of you, maybe 10 years, maybe 12 years, right, and maybe even longer, you've spent a lot of money on that Storefront B2B solution. You have a very dated user experience. I tend to describe it, as the AOL.com, website that was deployed, maybe 1987. But that's unfortunately what Storefront looks like. And so how do you take something like that and then provide more of a B2C experience, right? How do you make it mobile, right? And especially if you've got an older version of Storefront. Because if you have that, you have an older version of EasyAsk. And so we have a lot of functionality that we can provide without you having to tackle, the challenge of deploying a new B2B platform. And the last issue is that, of course, Infor is mandating that you continue to support this thing, right? They're not enhancing the product anymore. They haven't quite end-of-lifed it, but you all got the letter saying that we're putting into an extended maintenance mode, so there's no new functionality coming out. We had a situation a year ago. I sat down with a product manager for Storefront, said EasyAsk is 2 to 3 releases ahead of anything. There's a lot more functionality we can provide. And so, we were given dispensation and approval to be able to go work directly with Storefront clients. So that's what we're doing now. But this year at TUG, what we really saw was that fully half of the Storefront attendees were there to find a new B2B platform, right? What we've also saw is that all the new B2B platforms mandate extensive deployment. There's no question about that. And a lot of work, it's something in the area of maybe 6 months, maybe 18 months to deploy a new B2B platform, in addition to the costs, right, of buying that platform and then deploying that platform. And what we think that right now, with the situation with coronavirus, there's never been a worse time to tackle that type of a challenge. So what can we really do to help there? And we can do an awful lot. One of the things we did, I should basically mention, is that we had a few different presentations. One of them was about EasyAsk Direct. That's what we're talking about today. And the other one is we actually do have a next generation B2B solution that we'll be coming out with. And we had a whole session on that. And what was most interesting at the end of that is that there was no session behind us, and we talked about different options in the B2B world. After showing a next generation B2B solution, we then said, we have 2 solutions. One is EasyAsk Direct with Storefront that completely reskins the front end. And the next is a next generation B2B solution. And at the end of that, what's most interesting is while everyone was there to see the next generation product, 100% of the attendees said, actually, EasyAsk Direct with Storefront on the front end gives us everything we need, and it's faster and it's less expensive. And so that's what we found from the time. So this makes the most sense to us today. So as I've talked about already, Storefront's been in extended maintenance mode. What do? Do you replace it? You actually have a pretty good engine on the back end. Just got a dated look and feel to it, right? And what we found is that the Infor channel partners, and by the way, we work with the 2 largest ones, we work with, my apologies, with Action Associates, right, and with NSA, and they're the 2 largest channel partners. But all of the channel partners have resold, of course, Infor products, but they also resell these other B2B solutions: Rhythm, Insight, Unilog, American Eagle, Enterprise Store, right? Where Infor has thrown all the resources into Rhythm, in talking to Action, they haven't sold one. In talking to NSA, they haven't sold one. And each of them has actually sold 2 copies of Insight, $250,000 a pop. So, so significant money. And so basically, again, last year there was a session called Life After Storefront, saying if you're going to replace Storefront, this should be your expectation: $350,000 to $500,000, 6 to 18 months of work. Right. Our message right now is: look at where you are today. Look at the staff you've got. How do we enhance what you've got? Between 2 and 6 weeks, we'll get this done. We'll enhance the back end. We'll enhance Storefront on the back end with a stronger EasyAsk engine. Storefront can come in on the front end, completely change the look and feel, make that solution mobile. And the last thing is, and you'll forgive me for this bullet, because we do talk about flattening the spikes. That's really in the COVID world, but in fact, we're going to do the same thing for the costs that you're experiencing today. So if you're a Storefront client, you're asked to do an annual maintenance renewal. Generally, the average Storefront client is looking at about $12,000 a year. Some are smaller, some are larger, right? But that's a check you've got to write every year. And for that, you get nothing. There's no enhancement to the product. There's not much support. Our understanding is there's only 2 people left in the support group for Storefront. And so we took a look at that most recently and said, where are the challenges and how can we help, right? And one of the ways we can help is we can flatten the cost that you're incurring right now. Forgive me, I need to change this a little bit. And so, how do we do that? We could take that annual maintenance renewal and we could flatten that out. You could pay it on a monthly basis, right? So if you're paying $12,000 a year, it's $1,000 a month. And what are you going to get for that? You're going to get an enhanced EasyAsk experience, right? We're going to apply a big chunk of that money toward the EasyAsk Direct program and put your money to work for you. So you can try to ignore these giant checks you have to write every year for nothing, right? So what are you going to get for that? The EasyAsk Direct program, we're going to take Storefront forward. a different, easier to use interface. We're transforming the user experience. I'm going to go through these fairly quickly so that I can give this to Robin, and you can see exactly what EasyAsk Direct is going to provide you with a stronger engine on the back end. And then we'll give it over to Jonathan who could talk about enhanced scanner functionality. We both, by the way, provide better banner management, both with EasyAsk and Storefront. We can enhance your merchandising, create landing pages, etc. Right. Our message today is don't throw out the engine you've got. It actually works, but we need to enhance it, right? Whatever version of Storefront you're on, we can give you the most current version of EasyAsk, dramatically faster. EasyAsk Studio for analytics. It's always nice to be able to take a look at what searches are working, more importantly, which ones aren't, right? No results are something you need to be able to track. If a shopper comes and looks for something, he can't find it, it's important you know that. By the way, half of the Storefront base has Studio, the other half doesn't. We're going to provide concierge level support. So along with training, we're going to be there to hold your hand, and you're not going to pay us. Nobody's going to hit you with a support bill to try to help you put a merchandising campaign in place. And along with that, advanced training. So once you're trained, that's great. Does it mean you know how to use it? It doesn't. But over time, working with us hand in glove, you will. All right. So we already talked about enhancing your site. We're creating a Storefront Guidance Council. So we want the Storefront customers to engage with us, talk about new features and functions in partnership with Storefront. We can enhance this engine for years to come. We've enhanced it the last decade. We expect to enhance it, for the next decade as well. And from this point, I think I'm going to hand it over to Robin. And so Robin, Gloria, if you could please pass the ball over to Robin. Robin can actually go online and show you some of the features and functions of Studio, right? How to really track what searches are working, how to create synonyms that aren't, some advanced search capability, such as search as you type, that most of the base does not have today.
Thank you, Craig.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you. So Craig's absolutely right. Now is the time when you really want your e-commerce system to work really hard for you. And making sure that your customers can find the right products quickly is a key part of that. So maximizing what you have now is what the EA Direct program is all about. So firstly, we'll get you on the latest EA version or EasyAsk version, and we'll give you access to Studio. Now, EasyAsk search is extremely powerful. I'm sure most of you are aware of that. But with Studio, you get total control. So you get search analytics that shows you what's happening. You can fine tune your popular searches. You can fix things that aren't working as well as you'd like your zero results, etc. It's really easy to use. We will include training, so we'll do comprehensive training. But although this is easy, Concierge makes it even easier. And Concierge is going to allow us to work with you. Let me just, move on a slide there. There we go. It's going to allow us to work with you regularly to review your search and merchandising using EasyAsk. It's a really short time commitment from your part. It's 30 minutes or an hour at the maximum. And it's a joint thing. So it's you and it's us. You with the knowledge of what you're trying to achieve and your business and your products, and us showing you how you can achieve those things in EasyAsk and imparting those skills to you. So we'll fix things, we'll improve things, and of course we can measure all of these things through the analytics. And over time, and we find this time and time again as we've done it with many companies, over several months, we realize that our customers are actually doing these things on their own. And so you eventually become the experts in what you need to do to solve your problems to improve your systems, so you get the skills. And with that, I just want to jump into a demo. And one of the things that we really need to be in these times is agile, being able to react, to be able to change things without having to start projects and having the costs associated with it. So I'm just going to switch to our demo system, and our demo system is a furniture store, but it's here to simply illustrate the mechanics. This could be any type of store, and the types of things that you want to do are the same here as in your B2B system. The first thing I want to do is to show you a search that I know doesn't work very well, and I'm just going to do a search for couch. Remember, it's a furniture distributor, and what I'm seeing is a pillow, and it's because there is the word couch in here, but couch is really a sofa to most people. So I'm going to jump into Studio, and I'm going to say, okay, let's create a synonym. I'm just going to add a synonym to say that couch is a synonym of sofa, and I'm going to save that change, and I can come back and do that same search again. And this time I'm seeing sofas fairly obviously. So really, really agile, really quick. You know, that was probably 30 seconds. Let's look at what else we get from the direct program though. We get access to Studio, and that includes things like the analysis. So let's look at my 0 result searches. And I can see I've got a search for Lazy Boy, which is actually a brand. If I click on my little wrench icon, I can go and analyze that, and I can see I'm getting no products, and it's because we don't actually stock Lazy Boy. And this might be a sort of thing that happens to you. Somebody's searching for a particular type of product. You don't sell that exact product, but you may want to offer some alternatives. In this case, we just want to redirect them to another brand, and I'm going to do it with a special type of conditional redirect. I'm just going to click on add, and I'm going to say when somebody uses the term Lazy Boy, I actually want to redirect to another manufacturer that we do stock, which is Ashley. And because it's one of our advanced conditional definitions, I can also put in a very special custom message. So if I just go to the beginning of that so that you can see it, I'm saying we don't stock Lazy Boy furniture, but we believe you'll love our Ashley products. And if I add that and close and I save my changes, I'm just going to go back to my store and I'll do a search for Lazy Boy. And remember, we don't have any Lazy Boy products, but we're showing the Ashley products. And we've now got a custom message that explains exactly why we're showing these products. So it's showing alternatives. A final example, and you know, this may be particularly relevant to some of you now, is all about pushing products that you, the business, would like your customers to see when they're doing searches or browsing around on your site. Obviously, the products need to be relevant, but maybe you've got some products that are particularly suitable related to the situation we're in. Or maybe you've got a build-up of inventory in some of your warehouses. Things aren't moving so quickly, you're running out of space, and your warehouse manager says, we really need to shift these products, whatever they are. It's very, very easy with EasyAsk. I'm just going to show you an example, and I know this isn't relevant in terms of your business, but it's purely an example to show the mechanics. So I'm doing a search for coffee tables just so that you can see what is appearing first. And now if I go to Studio, I can look at the business rules, and I can see I've created a rule called glass coffee tables. And so when somebody searches for tables or coffee tables, we're actually pushing the glass coffee tables so that these will appear first. So this is how you would push inventory. It's within the context of whatever the user is looking for, so it has to be relevant. but it's another example of agility in these really difficult times when you want to react very quickly to a situation. Maybe it's pushing stock, maybe it's just fixing searches that you know you can fix. And with that, Gloria, I'm going to hand off to Jonathan at Storefront, because I know most of the attendees here are really excited to see the kind of exciting stuff that Jonathan can do with look and feel on the site.
Thanks, Robin. Okay, so everybody should be seeing the Storefront site. You can go to this at any point and just go to storefront.co. You can review some of the clients that are currently using this. This is not something that's brand new. It is something that's been around for, gosh, up to about 6-7 years now, and we've taken it to all new levels. And now the new partnership with EasyAsk, we're taking it further. So roadmap for the future and everything that we're going after from there. So what I'm going to display today to take you through a couple things is, in today's day and age, as Craig was saying, your digital presence is extremely important. And if anything that what this has brought to light is ensuring that, similar to what they see online is similar to what they're going to get in a handshake. In two cases: number one, for the front-facing side of it, and number two, for your, internal or external sales teams that are out there still hopefully trying to get some new sales or at least contacting people. So giving them the digital tools to be able to really take this thing forward. That's what we're trying to do, is make what we talk about Storefront as rigid as it used to be, and now giving it some flexibility to take it to another level. So as you see here, trydistributors.co is a complete demo site, all made up. But as you can tell, it's a nice, clean, airy home, more of a marketing page that you would see here. There's feature enhancements we can go down in the future, but first and foremost, it comes down to the nuts and bolts of it, which is your shopping experience. So once you're used to, some of you who have not seen the product in the past, if you click into shop and you're used to seeing an old storefront commerce come up like this that is not responsive, and if you try to view it in a mobile phone, it turns into things like this. And that's not very much fun to try to pinch and pull and figure out where I want to go. The next step of what we've been able to do is to create a whole new design layer. There's no dual entry, there's no nothing, and we're able to take it and keep the menu across the top, keep that kind of brand presence consistent, no matter what platform that they're viewing it for, so that full omni-channel kind of experience. And from there, we make it simple and easy to use with drop-downs from here, as well as account management tools and slide-ins. So when you're looking at this from a mobile phone, you can see now it's the same thing. It's going to give them, and it's going to respond down, whether it's a mobile, a tablet, doesn't matter the screen size. It's responsive enough to make sure that they're viewing it the way that you would like them to. We implement a lot of the slider functionality into this, just to make sure that we're keeping the real estate as open as possible. And today I'm going to take you through really quickly a little bit of a different version. I'm going to log in as the demo manager, because I want to talk a little bit about kind of what I think would be more prevalent to a lot of people now, managing these things, whether they're at home or on their phone or anything like that, especially as things start to go more digital. So as I bring in my account, I'm signed in. To sign out, again, it's the same idea, it's responsive. And then here you can see all these account management tools. So any modification that you've made to your current storefront instance or any account management tools that you have, we ensure that's ported over. So by doing that, it also allows you to manage all of these things, whether it's something as similar as reviewing orders. So if I go into review orders, let's say I want to change this date rate just to rate range to make sure I can pull up an old order. You can see all the search criteria. I can go into anything I really want to. I can really nail down into what it is. But we'll just search this, and it will take a second to populate. Now I can see all these orders. Not only can I see it from my desktop view, but I can take it to another level and make sure that, hey, I'm on my mobile phone, or as your sales staff happen to go out there again, you can see how these are coming up. And I can also print it from there. I can email these orders to make sure that that's all handled. Now, the next step is, let's say they want to go into something where some open transactions of what's out there. So from here, you can see all the listing of open transactions that's been there, the document numbers, or this, again, is completely customized to the way that you initially have this set up. Or we can help you take it to the customization that you need it to be. And then last but not least, let's make sure that if there's approvals out there. So a lot of people know in the B2B world, when your vendors are coming through and they're submitting orders, depending upon certain budgetary limits that you put at them, we want to make sure that pending orders are there. And I see one pending order here, and let's click into this, and it will take a second to populate. So you can see when it was commented, when it was over, it requires an overspending limit. I see what this is. I can see the total amount of what it was. I can accept or I can approve it. I can approve and submit it, or I can decline it and go back. Now let's take a look at the same idea of, hey, I might be on the road, or hey, I might be on my phone, or anything like that. And I can also look at it from a mobile phone and do the exact same thing. Now we're taking these levels to this side of these things to a different level by adding in even notifications in the future of really where we want to go. So that's kind of a little bit more of the account management tools, again, that you can see that you can manage whether you're on a mobile phone or back at your desktop, but it gives a much easier, clean user experience. Now, even when it comes to shopping aspects of stuff, that's a similar, easy one to handle. Say I search into oil using the EasyAsk search. Again, as Craig and Robin both mentioned, banner ad displays, this is all being controlled by EasyAsk, and making sure that, again, if I'm looking at it on the mobile phone, I can choose whether or not maybe I don't want this real estate taken up here. I can choose whether or not to allow that to show on a mobile phone, but I can say, no, I don't want it to, or I can say, yes, on a mobile phone, I want to show that. So you can see exactly how that all looks and feels from there. So here's the initial search results page. And then just for your sake, I'll give you a product detailed page that also brings in other areas that I think are extremely important. And these are things, again, based upon different users or modifications you made. We can see what warehouses it has, at quantity available. I can make sure I have alternate items, or for a lot of you that are out there, comparable items, same thing. But a lot of you out there also, you want to make sure that there's related items. So if I'm an HVAC and I order a condenser and there's other gaskets and parts that need to be part of that, we can make sure through EasyAsk, as well as managing everything else, that those items are right there. So that's the initial demo of the demo site. Now let's talk about a couple live examples. Waxy McClain Supply distributor that's out of San Diego. Again, you can see they've got a lot of different areas from here, and then their drop down is a two-tiered. So as soon as I scroll over, you see everything that populates. And if I go into one of their initial pages, you can see here the second level of their categories, and then again, more banner ad management. And since they're strictly B2B, they don't have a B2C unless you log in or you don't see pricing or anything like that, but they still want to show all their products that they're going through. They allow people to really go into this. And again, complementary items, anything that they have currently in managing in their storefront. The beauty of what we're talking about here is you do not have to change. There's no dual entry, no nothing. And then the next final level would be what we show here, which is Moda Fabrics. This again is their marketing site, and yes, very different. They're a fabric distributor, so everything needs to be pretty, and making sure that aesthetically pleasing is a big thing. So we've taken this to a whole new level by bringing in all content management solution, as well as their entire shopping experience. So even when I'm hovering over shop, these are their main categories that they set up in Storefront. And let's say I go into, let's say Notions. From there, it's bringing in directly over their M Storefront piece, and all it's doing is changing in the URL up top. So I'll give it a minute to load here. And then from there, you can see all their Notions of what they have here and their categories that they have, and you can refine categories or whatnot. Now, with all that being said, one more example. Here's EVP Supply. Again, they had their current website. We basically wanted to make sure that the branding representation was ported over into the shopping experience. So once you click into Shop Now, this green items, the current ones that they have in here of all the menu items, as well as their icon or any other branding guidelines that they have, is ported over to this. Now again, this is a customized homepage that they have full control over, doing what they want in their main landing page of M Storefront. So without that, any other questions that would come up, feel free to add into there. And I will turn this back over to Craig.
Thanks, Jonathan. That's, it's amazing to see these sites and recognize this is Storefront, and it's candidly wonderful to see. So going forward, let's see, we're displaying full screen here, hopefully. Oh, we're beginning. Okay. Let me bop down to where we were. The primary message we'd like to provide today, right, is taking this forward. What direction do you go, right? Again, we recognize the state of the world, after coronavirus, right? We recognize the challenges all the retailers have, right? The biggest challenge you could take on right now is to deploy a new B2B platform. We're trying to figure out how can we help, right? What can we do even more so than what we presented at TUG, what we presented maybe the month before. And if you attend to one of our webinars, much of this looks familiar. We're trying to see what we can do to make this as easy and as cost effective as we possibly can. And so some of the things that have changed, right, is the idea of annual maintenance, right? So today, if you're a Storefront client, Infor is billing you annual maintenance on that, and EasyAsk takes that over, right? We do it in partnership with our partners at Action and partners at NSA, and we have tremendous support resources, direct support resources for Storefront, far more than Infor Corporation has left today. There's really 2 people left doing that. So we support that, far more efficiently. But the next question is, what about the cost of that? So again, if the average Storefront client is spending $12,000 a year. So there's a big fat check you have to write every year. And sometimes it's $28,000 if you're a larger one. And so we took a look at that and said, let's flatten that out. Let's make that monthly so you don't have this, enormous roadblock to supporting a product that right now, if you're with Infor, it has no future, right? With EasyAsk Direct, it has a future. And we're going to flatten that out for you to make it easier for you. We want to work with you to see how well search is working right now, right? In most cases, it's working fine. In some cases, it wasn't. As it turned out, Infor Corporation, when they sent out a new release of Storefront, they broke the link to EasyAsk, and we didn't know that until we started working directly with Storefront clients. So we can get in there today and do a search and analytics health assessment and see how well search is working. You don't have to buy anything from us. We'd love to just help you. But we think we can certainly make a dramatic impact to create all the benefits of a next generation B2B platform without you having to spend all the money and devote all the time in deploying a new B2B platform. And again, we want to flatten the cost. So when you buy an on-premise solution like Storefront, somebody wrote a pretty fat check, right? We're pricing these products more as a SaaS solution, right? We're bringing them down. They're very cost effective. It's on a monthly basis, right? And we will be very happy to work with you, including crediting, a big chunk of your annual support maintenance toward the monthly cost of EasyAsk Direct and M Storefront, and then taking that annual cost again and spreading it out over 12 months. We just want to make it easy, and we can do this. And again, we'll have this up and running in a matter of weeks, maybe 3 weeks, top 6 in most cases, unless it's something extraordinarily unusual as far as modifications. But and in those cases, Jonathan and team will certainly do that assessment, but we haven't run into too much of that before. On your screen now is all the contact information. Feel free to reach out. I'm Craig Bassin, CEO at EasyAsk. Very happy to field any questions you've got. Jonathan, of course, CEO at TriGroup, right? Matt's heading up the Storefront Direct program. Don's in support, not on this call, but certainly always available. Evan's our VP of Sales, and Robin's product manager for EasyAsk. Feel free to reach out to us. We'd love to engage, answer any questions you've got. I think that covers it for me, and maybe we'll just kick it to any questions that may have come in the meantime. Hopefully this is interesting enough that some of you have asked them. Gloria, Matt, someone taking questions?
Yeah, we have a couple questions. So first question is, do the Storefront customers have the option to enable or disable B2C as opposed to, they put B2C, I'm assuming they meant B2B, So do they have the option to enable or disable B2C as opposed to B2B?
That's a confusing question to me. Jonathan, would you like to handle that? I mean, certainly we can extend the B2C functionality.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Sure. So there's options there within Infor that you can open up, or within your storefront commerce piece that you can open up B2C as well as B2B. But let's say you want to completely keep it on a B2B level, you can add in an initial home screen that forces the user to either create an account or to log into use their account before they're allowed to see anything to do with your catalog, or vice versa. As I showed you within the Waxy side of it, they are B2B. They don't open up to B2C, but they still want to expose their products online, but hide pricing and quantity available. So from there, there's options of more of a hybrid there as well. Does that answer that question?
Thank you, Jonathan. What if Infor end of life storefront?
Well, they have not end of life storefront, right? What Infor did about a year and a half ago, I think the letter went out in December, is they put storefront into what they called extended maintenance mode. So everyone everyone was supposed to have received a letter. If you're a storefront client, you were supposed to have received a letter that basically said storefront was now in something they've titled extended maintenance, meaning there would no longer be any enhancements to the product going forward, only severity 1 bug fixes, although there really was no definition of what a severity 1 bug fix is. So that's not end of life, right? That's just clearly reduced support. And then over time, what they've done is they've shifted the engineering team over to Rhythm, most of the support team over to Rhythm. All the information we've received is there are 2 people left in support, and at TUG, 3 different customers said, well, it's about to be 1, but I don't know what that means. But regardless, there is a customer base of about 300 storefront clients, and there are 2 people left at Infor Corporation supporting that base.
Okay. What if I don't already have Studio?
If you don't already have Studio, this is actually a spectacular opportunity. Generally, Infor Corporation was selling Studio somewhere in the 25 to, depending on the size of your pack, if you had an unlimited pack for storefront, it could have been $85,000, et cetera. With EasyAsk Direct, you get Studio. So not only do we enhance the back-end engine with more functionality, better user experience, stronger analytics, we actually get the Studio package that you don't have today. Without Studio, it's difficult, if not impossible, to really track your no results terms, create synonyms. It's far more easier with Studio. We provide all the analytics and all the cross-sell, the upsell, all the merchandising. There's a tremendous amount of functionality. Robin could have spent an hour showing you, additional features and functions. Plus, search as you type only came with the latest versions of EasyAsk that only the most current versions of Storefront had. So most of the base didn't have search as you type, which is really a tremendous function that it's like Google, right? Type ahead. As you start to type, products are coming back. So it's a tremendous value because we're going to provide Studio, with the monthly cost of EasyAsk Direct.
Okay. How does M Storefront work with EasyAsk features? This one would be for Jonathan.
That's going to be where we're coming up with the enhanced roadmap for 2020. So a lot of those things that we're starting to push out when it comes to this is trying to find new ways, whether it's banner ad management for different areas. It gives, as we discussed earlier, it gives that whole flexibility back to this. So some of the initial roadmaps of really where we're trying to come up with for 2020 is enhanced scanner functionality by making sure that you can use your phone or a Bluetooth scanner to scan in UPC codes, single sign-on capabilities, more, and then from the EasyAsk side of it, it's the landing pages, banner ad management, improved messaging in those no results pages. So in the past, EasyAsk had the capabilities to do things like this, but when it came to showcasing these on the front end the proper way, it was never available. So that's really what this has come up to.
And last question is, what if I don't have the latest version of Storefront or EasyAsk?
Well, as long as you're not on version 100, from the storefront standpoint, which was a completely different code base, we've gone all the way down to version 200 and modified that from an M storefront standpoint. Now on EasyAsk, Craig?
Yeah, so that's actually one of the real advantages of it. Sorry, Robin, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say with the direct program, what we're doing is upgrading anybody on 300 and above up to version 16 of EasyAsk. So we're putting in libraries that enable that communication to work, so that you can be on the latest version of EasyAsk. Obviously, that gives you a much better user interface in the studio, but it also gives you more functionality. And in time, as Jonathan said, the functionality that is visible on your website will be enabled through M Storefront, things like merchandising slots driven by natural language rules and so on and so forth. There's a lot of stuff there, but we'll upgrade you to version 16, which is the current release. And I guess most of you are either on 14, some may even be on version 12, which is very, very different. I hope that answers the question.
Let me enhance that for just a quick second. The underlying question might be, do you have to upgrade on your end? And the answer is no. And the one thing we really need to reinforce, and it's really the underlying message here, is that you're all living in a new world today, right? And you're working distributed. How do you tackle these projects? And the truth of the matter is, we're going to do all this work for you. EasyAsk can handle the back end upgrade. Right, Jonathan and team can handle the front end upgrade. You don't have to devote resources. You don't have to have a team assigned to this. You have to have someone engaged, certainly, and especially on the M Storefront side, as far as guidances for look and feel, what you'd like to see, right? More than on the EasyAsk side, we're pretty much automatic, right? But the focus and the message is, we can handle all this for you. You don't have to have dedicated resources devoted to enhancing your B2B e-commerce experience. We'll get it done. And so, is that the end of the questions, Matt?
Sorry, I was on mute. There's one more question that popped up. How do Storefront customers know what version of Storefront and EasyAsk they are on?
Jonathan, you want to tackle that? Yeah. We can handle the EasyAsk part. But
yeah, on the Storefront side, that should just, we can do a comparison against your initial WAR file and see where you're at. But you should be able to see that directly in your Storefront when you go into that.
Yeah, and depending what version of Storefront you're on, we'll know what version of EasyAsk you're on.
Those questions
find it
come
in
up
the dashboard of their admin page.
Correct. And if you are a studio user, you can there's a menu option in Studio that will tell you exactly which release you're on.
And I believe that is it for the questions.
Okay, great. So again, reach out to us, please. We can help you in many, many ways. Today, the very first thing we'd love to do is engage and see how's search working for you. How is EasyAsk working for you, right? We're very happy to engage and improve, take to a health assessment, see how things are working, talk about what your user experience is like, help craft a roadmap for you going forward. We're not really in business to generate a lot of consulting dollars. So that isn't how we work. We'd like to spend time with you and make sure that, Storefront is providing the best experience it can, for your end users, for your shoppers, and for your partners. So please reach out. Let's see what we can do to help. It's a quick and easy assessment on the TriGroup side as to what's going to be involved in upgrading the front-end user experience. It's a very straightforward process. Happy to, connect you with previous Storefront clients that have engaged with EasyAsk either on to help improve search, or to plug in EasyAsk Direct, or to enhance further with M Storefront on the front end. The one thing we can promise you is you'll be very happy. We actually care about this business. Today, unfortunately, you're running a B2B solution that the company that sold it to you doesn't really care much about. We do, and we're going to build this business and take it forward for the next decade, just like the last decade. So we're going to be there for you, and so we look forward to engaging with you and helping any way we can. And with that, everyone, stay safe. I hope your businesses remain robust. We're certainly committed to try to provide the best user experience we can and maximize revenue for your B2B solutions.
Greg, we'd like to thank you for providing such great content along with everyone on your team that you've assembled here today. And again, we will have the TUG webinar up for viewing or review or sharing with other colleagues or other people that may be interested that you've networked with through TUG. So please feel free to avail that information tomorrow at about the same time frame as we logged on today. Thanks everyone, stay safe, and as they say in Hollywood, that's a wrap.